afternoon, and welcome. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you, distinguished guests, core group leaders, families, friends, and members of our graduating class to the Class of 2020 virtual commencement ceremony for our graduates from Pulpit Rock Student Ministries. A lot of folks might be watching this eventually who don't know. My name is Mark Wendell, and I have the incredible honor and privilege of serving as student pastor at Pulpit Rock Church, which means that while working to live life alongside these beautiful graduates, I have learned a lot from them. I'm a better human for having journeyed with them, so thank you. By definition, commence means to begin or start. So why is the end of a school year called commencement? Historically, a student entered the university as an apprentice and emerged as a commenced university master or doctor. They were confirmed with the new title, Master of Arts. So technically, it is called a commencement because it marked the beginning of a person's career as a Master of Arts at the university, meaning the beginning of a career as a university teacher. So then today's commencement could signify the beginning of a new season and chapter in the lives of our beautiful graduates. To each, parents, siblings, grandparents, graduates, congratulations. And now let's devote special attention as our graduates introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Avery Lamson, and I'm a graduate of Pine Creek High School.
I'm Brendan Miller. I'm a graduate from Cheyenne Mountain High School.
I'm Ellie Myers. I'm a graduate of Coronado High School.
I'm Teresia Robinson. I'm a graduate of Liberty High School.
How's it going? I'm Chris Dumash, class of 2020 grad, and I graduated from Rampart High School.
All look so beautiful in your cap and gown today. Miller, especially you. We gathered today to celebrate a moment of milestone and accomplishment in the lives of our beautiful seniors. Your individual high school graduation ceremonies would have taken place over these past few weeks. I am so sorry that those did not take place the way they should have, if at all. I grieve alongside each of you as you deal with the various losses of this recent semester. There are many things that you each hold dearly important that you missed out on, and to some extent had taken away from you. Each year, I personally look forward to the month of May. This is typically a season where I get to travel to numerous local venues for another, possibly final opportunity to see our students in their native environments, where they have spent what seemed like countless hours, to see them with their friends, their colleagues, their teachers, and their coaches, to see them celebrate with their families. I always love the moment our graduates emerge from a hallway and make their way into a larger setting, and then love trying to find them among the sea of similarly colored humanity once they're finally seated. Truly finding them and seeing them is part of the quest. Well, today, Brendan Miller, Tyler Higbee, Chris Dumash, Teresia Robinson, Emma Tuggle, Avery Lamson, Ellie Myers, please know that I see you. And don't mind telling you on this special occasion that I love you, and I believe in you students. And it is clear that there are so many others who do as well. Behind each of you who have accomplished so much, there's a list of people who have supported you while you do so. Parents who sacrificed and nourished you. Grandparents who have spoiled you. Teachers and coaches who have guided and instructed. Friends who have laughed and cried and cheered and probably cried some more. Core group leaders here at Pulpit who have committed time and energy outside of their regular lives to journey with you. So grateful and thankful that they're here on our commencement ceremony with us today. Leah Garavelli and Denise LaPlante. We wanted to make time and space for them to share some words of encouragement or blessing with you seniors during our time together today. Denise, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. It is so wonderful thankful every time that I get to see each of your faces. I have so enjoyed these past 4 years with the title of leader, but more in being and earning friends. So as we have today, I just wanted to give a prayer, a blessing over all of you. This is from a mix match of some of Paul's words. And as I pray, this is from me, and it is to Avery, it is to Ellie, it is for Brendan, it's for Teresia, for Emma, for Chris, and for Tyler. For each of you, I thank my God every time I remember you. I pray that out of our Father's glorious riches, He may strengthen you with power through His Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ for you, to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. This is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. This God, my God, your God, will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us, that is at work within each one of you, to Him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. You are so loved.
Thank you, Denise. Leah, I hate to definitely want to put you on spot today. What words of encouragement you have for this beautiful class today?
It's been an honor to get to know each of you and spend time with you each week. Our Wednesday night meetings have been one of the highlights of my week, and I love how you all push to come each week and support each other despite even these difficult circumstances. So thank you guys for that. I'm inspired by each of you and how you think deeply about the world around you, and how you don't accept the standard as the rule, how you don't see things as black and white, that you instead approach everything with kindness and mercy. My hope for you is that you don't lose that softness in your hearts and continue to push yourselves and others towards what is right. As you navigate this next stage in your life, I'm praying that you feel God's presence beside you and that He gives you peace despite the chaos that has been happening. I love you guys, and thank you for your dedication to this church and the small group and this family.
That's beautiful. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing those things. I think I can resonate with those, and these students certainly are kind of evidence of exceeding and abundant, certainly in my life. Denise and Leah, thank you for all that you have done to pour into the lives of these students. You are the heroes of all of this. This does not happen in the development of these students without you. I love that, and thank you. And I think that we miss out on so much in life when we don't take up the opportunities to tell each other how we feel. And so for you students to hear that these adults love you and they believe in you is really, really important.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome to the calls. I love it. It is visible and obvious, Leah and Denise, the impact that you've had in these girls' lives, but it's encouraging to know that it's obvious to see the impact that they have had through your relationship in your lives, to see you grow and flourish because you're in relationship with these beautiful young women. That's so valuable. These family relationships that have been cultivated, they will last and carry on to your futures. So I encourage all of you together with these adults to cherish these relationships, to care for them, but definitely to work to grow them. I look forward to college graduation ceremony invitations and wedding invitations some days. And we look forward to family pictures down the road based on what we've established here together. And I love this group so much because it allows us to share so many valuable memories and experiences. You students probably know better than anybody, but your class, while it's small, has seen more than its fair share of true hardship. It's small in size, but you have battled big time adversity. This student ministry class, the class of 2020, has seen among the list a catastrophic, potentially fatal injury during a boating accident. Miller, I will never forget standing in someone's driveway on the 4th of July, getting a call saying that you had been injured in a boating accident, and they weren't sure how that was going to go. Your accident, your healing, the surgery, the months and semesters that followed, you definitely persevered through that, and that was a really big deal. Your class has seen a number of personal life events that no young person or any person, for that matter, should ever endure. Your class has seen the tragic and absolutely unexpected death of a parent. The loss of Tyler Higbee's mom nearly 2 years ago shook our student group to the core, but ultimately, because of your work, drew it closer together. Your class has experienced the long-awaited but tragic passing of a classmate that had heroically battled cancer for years. Our beautiful Noah Hobbleman continues to have an impact on our individual and collective lives. And of course, your class has seen a worldwide pandemic. We are technologically trying to graduate people. It is truly unprecedented, unimaginable, and unforgettable. Your lives have been affected in some pretty unfair ways. You have had to miss out on things that no classes before you have had to miss out on, and likely things that no future class will have to miss out on. In addition to learning to add and subtract, how to round and integrate, how to hang a participle, how to achieve music scaling and jump rope for charity, you've had to learn how to mask up and social distance, and you've done it so well. Our Savior said, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Perhaps what has been most seen in this class above any other trait has been perseverance. You have persevered, you are persevering, and you will continue to persevere. You'll need to. And that might just be the most important quality that you seniors take away from this season of life. The ability to endure and see things through regardless of how difficult you're learning to persevere. Our former U.S. Secretary of State and four-star General Colin Powell once said, always focus on the front windshield, but never the rearview mirror. Well, for a few minutes today, we'd love for you seniors to take a look in both. Again, this class size allows us to share things personally. So if we could, for a few minutes, we want to take some time to hear you students respond, certainly to some things that maybe we had thrown out to you before to think about. But this will be a time for you students to finally get to speak more. Avery Lamson, if we could begin with you today. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
The first real job that I wanted, after wanting to be a princess, I wanted to be an author. And that didn't last for very long. And by the time I was I'd say 9 or 10, I was already interested in teaching and counseling. So
very good. All those very beautiful and noble things. I'd be interested to see how soon that princess thing got shut down as well. That's really fun. Brendan Miller, when you were a little boy, what did you want to be when you grew up?
One of the first things that I remember I wanted to be is I wanted to fly. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to travel the world and see it from up above. I think that's, for as much as I can remember of my childhood, that's what I wanted to do.
Very good. More on that to come later. Ellie Myers, how about for you? When you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I'd say same on the princess thing at first, but the biggest one for the longest time was ballerina. And that started when I was 2, and I saw a ballerina at the Pikes Peak Center, and then like 12 years of hard work later, I'm not going to be a ballerina.
Well, we're ruling out things that aren't supposed to be, but seeing how you're gifted in theater and art, that definitely could still be part of your calling, no doubt. I love it. Emma Tuggle, how about you, hon? When you were a little girl, what did you dream of being when you grew up?
I always wanted to be a spy.
Ooh.
Yes, that was always my dream. And I don't know if spy is the correct term, but I'm hoping someday I can do something in that realm. So we're dreaming.
That's great. Now, we're here to interview some of your siblings. I wonder if they would say that you're a spy at heart for sure. That's really good. Teresia Robinson, when you were a little girl, what did you dream of being when you grew up?
I wanted to be a toy maker, like specifically wind-up toys.
That's really great. We're that job will always be in need.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a firefighter. I mean, every time I heard those sirens, my little heart would just like thump. And I was just like face against the window, just waiting for that red and white truck to just zip by the car and just see those lights flashing and like the sirens blaring. I thought that was the coolest thing. And every time that they'd pass us, it's like, nudge my parents, I'm like, hey, follow them. That's the coolest thing.
That's so good. Good job. Let's double back. Avery, if you could do so, what would you tell your freshman self as you entered high school?
Oh, I would tell her to keep your head up. I think there's a lot of things that, have happened over high school that I didn't have any control over. So the best thing in that situation is to just keep looking forward and enjoy what you can and enjoy where God's put you.
Avery, that is so good. And those are words of counsel that a person of every age ought to hear from you. My goodness, well said. I'm sure freshman Avery would have benefited big time from you having been able to share that. Brendan Miller, if you could do so today, what would you tell your freshman self at Cheyenne Mountain High School?
I'd probably tell them that everything's going to work out. School, life, everything has late nights, lots of work, lots of struggles. But in the end, it's going to work out. It's going to find a way. Everything will get done when it needs to be. You don't need to stress about everything months before it's going to happen.
Miller, that's so good, kind of that big picture thinking. And again, that's a good word of advice for people of any age. Thank you. That's great. Ellie Myers, what would you tell a freshman Ellie if you could do so?
Have a better attitude. Because, when I went to high school, I was mad because I wanted to go to SIVA, and I ended up at Coronado because it was close to where my mom's school was. And I would tell myself that you're going to spend 4 years in theater making some of the best friends of your life, probably. You're going to spend years learning how to do video production that you're going to carry into probably adulthood. It sounds like you're going to do things that are going to make it worthwhile. So don't be so angry about everything everyone else is doing, and my mom always tells me not to cut off my nose to spite my face. So like don't be angry with the world when it's just doing its thing.
Well, Ellie, I love that so much. And again, a good word for everybody. And I appreciate your honesty to say this is what it looked like back then, and maybe a lesson that I've learned from that time. That's all so good. My goodness. Emma Tuggle, what would you tell your freshman self if you could?
I would tell my freshman self that everything that happens over the next 4 years, you will be able to put into a teaching moment to help somebody else.
Oh, it's so good. Man, I'm being all encouraged by this today, Emma. I love that so much. And that your story will continue to bear fruit. I love it. So good job. Teresia Robinson, what would you tell your freshman self if you could?
I tell my freshman self to advocate for themselves more. Speak up for things that were done to you that weren't supposed to happen.
Teresia, it's so good. And I wish that Zoom meetings could pick up goosebumps. You guys are just thrilling me with your big picture kind of understanding of things. And again, Teresia, good on you for speaking up to say lesson learned and advocating. That's a skill that's difficult to learn. Good for you. That's so good. Avery Lamson, what would you say that during this most difficult season of pandemic, what have you learned most about yourself?
I'd say that I've learned just how dependent I am on my, relationships. And in some ways that's a good thing, to understand that I need other people in my life, supporting with me, working with me. But then I've also seen areas where, I'm weak as an individual and I can rely on. And so it's, I've really gotten to know myself and where I need to, start taking on responsibilities for myself and not for other people, and kind of, seeing where I'm strong as an individual and where I need other people to be in my life, to help me stay motivated and stay productive and stay close to God.
Avery, that's so good. Big lessons learned. Brendan Miller, sir, during this difficult season of pandemic, what do you feel like you've learned most about yourself?
I think I've learned most how I can be patient, and let things that I can't control just let them go. There's nothing I can't worry about them, because they're out of my control. They're just going to happen with or without me. Let those things go and be patient for what I'm waiting on.
Yes, sir. Very well said. Another big lesson learned. That's great. Ellie Myers, what have you learned most about yourself during this difficult pandemic season?
I'm a very emotional person naturally, and my emotions, I feel things very deeply. So I've kind of learned ways that I can hold back on that and kind of channel it instead of just letting myself go haywire. Because for the first few weeks, I was kind of a mess between hot and cold because I was trying to adjust to a new environment. And so I've learned that there are times when I need to kind of hold it in and not, and ways that I need to kind of channel how I'm feeling.
These are all so good, and life lessons, my word, for all of us. Good on you for learning them kind of at this age and phase and stage. Emma Tuggle, how about for you? What have you learned most about yourself during this unusual pandemic season?
I think I've learned most that kind of what Brendan said, that I can't control everything, and that it's okay to take a step back and just let the world happen. And I definitely how to take care of myself a lot more through that, because I've been focusing a lot more on my needs and what I need to get through this.
Again, so good. Tracy Robinson, how about you? During this unusual pandemic season, what have you learned the most about yourself?
I think I've learned that I'm easily stressed, and so I've learned how to better de-stress.
That's great. Again, lessons that all of us will need as you move forward. That's so good, this lesson to have learned about yourself. That's a few minutes looking in the rearview mirror. Let's look through the windshield for a few minutes as a group together. Avery Lamson, what are your next steps for this next coming year, the fall season? What are you looking forward to as far as your next steps?
Well, as of today, a lot of things are still in the air.
Okay.
I thought I had a very solid plan to finish high school and step into 4 years of college, student teaching and classroom, but this has kind of thrown a wrench in that. So I'm looking at taking a gap year, spending some time, in the workforce. And what I hope to do during this next year is to, build some community here in the Springs, outside of just my body. So.
Yeah, it's so good. And again, I appreciate your vulnerability today, just to mention things exactly how they are. And again, just can be very difficult. As a side note, there'll be lots of avenues that we could get you plugged in with some gap year things, even here locally, if you're looking for ways to get involved. I think that's a blessed plan. Good for you. Brendan Miller, how would you describe your next steps for the fall and the near future?
Crazy. Head to the Naval Academy in a month's time to spend the next 4 years before I join the Navy as an officer, and then hoping to fly afterwards as a pilot. So it's pretty certain for this uncertain time what I will be doing, which is exciting to me.
Yes, super exciting. And as uncertain as anything certain has ever been at the Naval Academy, you're going to try something very different on for size. And you might be the only one of the entire group who will be, when you grow up, what you always wanted to be.
That is possible.
Congratulations. Those are big next steps. Good for you. Ellie Myers, how would you describe your next steps for this next year?
So I am going to be taking a gap year. My family and I sat down and pretty much decided that it took some time. But I have a job, so I'm going to try and get some more hours with that. I work at a ninja gym, which is interesting because I'm not a ninja at all. But it's a really good job, and I'm looking forward to being there more. And the goal is to get more scholarships as well. So just kind of try to save money and learn how to manage my time.
Fantastic. And again, anything that we can do to help you during that gap year, please, let's stay in close touch about those things. Is a beautiful plan. Congratulations. Emma Toggle, how would you describe your next steps for the months to come?
I'm also going to take a gap year, or at least a gap semester to work some more, hopefully finally move out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, congratulations. These are big steps for you to be taking. Congrats. And Tracy Robinson, how would you describe your next steps for the next several months to come?
Probably just going to take it easy during the summer. I do have a summer job.
Good.
And then I plan on going to Colorado Mesa in the fall for mechanical engineering.
Good. My goodness, fantastic. Congratulations. As a side note, we have some people we could connect you with over there to ease things. Is that cool? We'll talk about it later. Congratulations. That's a big deal on that engineering stuff. All right.
For next year, I will be attending the 4-year program out at Calvin University. I will be majoring in environmental sciences, and I will be hopefully interning at a local fire department. But I will also be minoring in photography. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll be playing lacrosse out in Calvin, out in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Students, here we go. One more question. You've done great. Hang tight. Avery Lamson, in that next chapter of life, what are you most excited to learn about yourself in the near future?
I think I'm excited to learn about how how I kind of fit into the world, aside from being a student. That's kind of been my role for all of us. That's been our role in the world up until this point. Our main priorities to, go to school, study, get things done kind of in that sphere. But to just start navigating and finding my place in the world outside of that and beyond that. I'm really excited to see what God has for me.
That's a beautiful mental picture of you finding out how you're supposed to fit in this big, crazy world. I love that. Well done. That's good. Brendan Miller, what are you excited to most to learn about yourself in your next chapter?
I'm excited to learn how far my work ethic and my determination will take me. I've got a lot of big opportunities ahead that pretty much leave the world open to me. So I want to just see how far I can take that and where I can go with that.
Yes, sir. Excited to be alongside you as you figure those things out. Well said. Ellie Myers, today, how are you most excited to learn about yourself in this next chapter?
I think God has very deliberately put me in several specific places that I've gone through, and I've learned a lot about myself and about the abilities that He's given me. And so I'm curious to see when I'm grown up, like when my brain is like pretty much developed and when I'm mature and have reached a stable point in society, et cetera, like who is that going to look like, and how am I going, where is He going to put me, and what am I going to grow into?
Ellie, that is so good, and I appreciate you keeping, God in the forefront of those things and kind of His direction and instruction. I'm excited for those things too. Emma Toggle, how about this next chapter? What are you most excited to learn about yourself?
I'm most excited to learn about what my calling is going to be. I still don't know. I have some very different ideas of what it could possibly be. So I'm excited to explore that with God and just see where life takes me.
Well, having watched and studied you for at least a couple years now, there is definite calling on you, and I got that quest to discover that that's the real deal. And so I just commend you as you head into that, just trying to figure out what that looks like. Well done and well said. Teresia Robinson, how about you, hon? In this next chapter, what are you most excited to learn about yourself?
I think I'm just most excited to see how I handle college, just how after college, how I'll end up, how all my experiences will shape me.
That's so good. I've told people recently that being in student ministry, it takes a couple years for you to really learn about families, and when you feel like, it takes a while to feel like the students that you're working with are truly your kids. And I would say that this class is the second generation of that. I felt like last year, but this year, just knowing you students, it takes a long time to learn and to love one another. I'm just so proud of this class, and you have done big damage with the smallest numbers possible. This is a fantastic class. So this is a real distinct honor for me. I've always dreamt of helping with the graduation. I think they're really fun. But not very often does a graduation MC get to speak personally like this to each graduate. And so this is really fun for me. For you and I, we've worshiped together. We have traveled together. We've studied together. We've laughed and cried together. We've served with each other. We've worked side by side together. And I've been able to see you in situations and settings that nobody else has. And so it's a unique gift that I've had a chance to do that. Thank you. It has been so fun. And it would be amiss if I didn't find a way to challenge you. So here's just a couple things I want to challenge you with today, because you're supposed to do this during a graduation ceremony. Here's a phrase: rather than being the best in the world, I want you students to strive at being the best for the world. If you work at being best for the world, you'll fulfill your God-given purpose. I can pray only that over these past several years, you have been able to find safety among your student ministry family members. Now I challenge you to go on and insist on creating those safe places for other people. I want to encourage you and challenge you to love and love again and love more and love out loud. Love passionately, love with reckless abandon, love embarrassingly, love unashamedly. That's ultimately all you students are asked to do, to love other people. And I want to encourage you to stay in touch. You're a part of this spiritual family, which means sometimes there will be no choice. I'm going to chase you down. I'm coming to Annapolis. I will do that. So keep those. I will encourage you students to keep those who do love you kids without condition. Keep them as close as you possibly can to you. Okay? Now here's your next set of instructions. In turn, as I call you by name, I want you to get out of your seat and make your way to the camera. I want you to give me a high five and then go sit back down. Avery Lampson.
Ready?
Well done. Brendan Miller. Ellie Myers. Emma Tuggle. Give me a high five, child. Good job. Teresia Robinson. I trust you've already gotten your diplomas. I didn't have anything to hand you today. I thought we could do a high five. I should have hit your parents up for middle names, but I felt like that might have been a little bit much today on a virtual commencement ceremony. Thank you for playing along. You're indulging me. In closing, you have undoubtedly completed all of the necessary academic requirements to have earned your high school diploma. And that has been awarded or delivered to you in some way or another. So we don't have that for you today. But what you are being offered today instead is a pledge to follow you, to love you, to do life with you, which is one of life's greatest gifts. So it's with great excitement that we say congratulations, class of 2020, on your commencement. Now, if you're wearing one, would you move your tassels from the right to the left? Congratulations. Let's give everyone a round of applause. Able to get my golf clap on today. Congratulations. I love you, and I'm so proud of you, students. So now, let's take a minute or so as we close. Can you make your way to a space in the yard outside somewhere? We want to, in a moment, have a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and have you throw your caps into the air. It would be ideal if we could catch that on camera. I'll give you a few minutes to get settled, and then we'll do a countdown. Ready, go.
Hold it.
That's great. I love that. It's so good. Are we ready? We lost Tracy and Ellie. Hold on a second, Tracy and Ellie. There's Ellie. Good job, Ellie. We'll wait for you to get settled. This is going to be cool. Tracy, do we get you back on video? Oh. All right, we'll do our best. Are we ready? Tracy, are you ready, babe? Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Give it a rip. I love it. Did Avery catch her cap? Did you catch her cap, Denise? That was great. All right, make your way back to the cameras. One final thing. Good job. Can you hear me? I love you kids very much. I'm proud of you. Thank you for your flexibility and patience and being willing to try something pretty weird today. All we want you to do is to feel loved and seen and celebrated today. We do love you, students. And we'll be in touch very, very soon, okay? I love you all. Congratulations, class 2020. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.